The massive council chamber hummed with the soft whispers of alien delegates from across the galaxy. June Park stood at the center, her dark eyes scanning the room with an intensity that made the other representatives uncomfortable. She wore a simple gray uniform, its crisp lines a stark contrast to the flowing, elaborate robes of the alien diplomats. The Galactic Council meeting had been routine until that moment. Representatives from 17 different star systems sat in a circular arrangement, holographic displays flickering between them with complex star charts and diplomatic reports. Most ignored the human delegation, a relatively new species that had only recently joined the interstellar community. When June spoke, her voice was calm and matter-of-fact. "There are 3 ships," she said, pointing to what appeared to be completely empty space near the chamber's massive transparent dome. Argonian stealth cruisers, quantum-shielded, positioned exactly 2.3 kilometers from our current location. A ripple of silence swept through the chamber. The Argonian representative, a tall creature with iridescent scales and multiple eyes, shifted uncomfortably in his seat. His translator device clicked in Word, processing the unexpected statement. "Impossible," muttered Kraltok, the Argonian diplomatic lead, his scales shifting from deep blue to a pale green, a sign of agitation among his species. "Our quantum shielding is undetectable. No technology in the known galaxy can penetrate our stealth systems." June didn't move. Her finger remained pointed at the seemingly empty space, unwavering and precise. "The ship on the left has minor hull damage near its starboard engine," she added, her tone neutral. "Looks like a micrometeor impact from approximately 3 standard weeks ago." The chamber erupted into a chaos of translated whispers and electronic communication. Holographic displays began running complex scans, trying to verify or disprove the human's extraordinary claim. Han Choi, the human translator, stood slightly behind June. He watched carefully, understanding the potential implications of her statement. Humans had always been different, adaptable, unpredictable, and now apparently capable of seeing what should be invisible. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the lead human scientist on the delegation, leaned forward. Her datapad was already collecting preliminary readings from the chamber's sensors. Her fingers moved quickly, cross-referencing June's statement with available technological data. The Argonian representative's translator crackled with frustration. "These are baseless claims. No visual or sensor evidence supports your statement." June simply raised an eyebrow. "Would you like me to describe the exact markings on the ship's hull? The serial number is clearly visible from here." More silence. Then confusion. Then a growing sense of something that felt remarkably like fear. The Galactic Council had existed for thousands of years. They had encountered countless species, developed advanced technologies, and believed they understood the limits of perception and technological capability. Stealth ships were the pinnacle of military technology, undetectable, silent, perfect for covert operations. And now a human, from a species barely recognized as a significant galactic civilization, was casually pointing out something that should be impossible. June Park didn't smile. She didn't need to. Her calm declaration was enough to change everything. Outside the chamber, through the massive transparent dome, the vast darkness of space stretched endlessly. 3 ships hung in that darkness, invisible to everyone except one human who seemed to see right through their most advanced technological protection. The meeting would never be the same. The galaxy would never be the same. Something fundamental had just changed. The research facility was a marvel of glass and steel, nestled in the heart of the human colony on New Terra. Dr. Yuna Kim stood before a wall of advanced scanning equipment, her eyes fixed on the complex readings flickering across multiple screens. Her team had been working non-stop since Captain Park's extraordinary claim at the Galactic Council meeting. Volunteers from various human backgrounds filled the testing chambers. Scientists, military personnel, and even random civilians had come forward, eager to understand the mysterious ability that seemed to set humans apart from other galactic species. "Run the quantum perception scan again," Yuna instructed her assistant, Jae-sung. The young researcher nodded, his fingers dancing across the holographic control panel. The first tests were simple. Researchers placed quantum-shielded objects in controlled environments. Most test subjects saw nothing, just empty space. But a small percentage of humans could describe these invisible objects with startling accuracy. It wasn't technology. It wasn't a learned skill. It was something biological. Dr. Rodriguez arrived midway through the testing, her notepad filled with preliminary observations. It's not about seeing, she explained to the confused alien research team observing the experiments. It's about perceiving quantum fluctuations in a way we've never understood before. Brain scans revealed the most surprising information. A unique neural pathway, previously unnoticed, seemed to process information differently in some humans. It was like an additional sense, not quite sight, not quite intuition, but something entirely new. Look at these neural connections, Una muttered, zooming into a complex 3D brain model. Tiny threads of neural activity sparked in patterns never before documented in any known species. The human brain was processing quantum information as easily as most species processed visual light. The alien research observers grew increasingly agitated. Representatives from the Quantum Research Consortium of Andromeda watched with a mixture of disbelief and growing concern. If humans could naturally perceive quantum-shielded objects, it would revolutionize everything from military strategy to scientific exploration. Jae-sung ran another series of tests. This time, they used increasingly complex quantum-shielded objects. Small devices, then larger machinery, then entire simulated spacecraft. The results were consistent. Some humans could describe these invisible objects with perfect detail. It's not magic, Dr. Rodriguez explained during a break. It's just a different way of processing information. Our brains seem to interpret quantum wavelengths as a kind of sensory input. The implications were massive. Stealth technology, the most advanced form of military protection in the galaxy, could become obsolete. Covert operations would be impossible. Entire diplomatic and military strategies would need complete redesign. As the days of testing continued, patterns emerged. The ability wasn't uniform. Some humans could perceive quantum-shielded objects perfectly. Others saw nothing. It seemed to be a genetic variation, something that could potentially be studied, understood, and maybe even developed. Una looked at the final report taking shape. This was more than a scientific discovery. This was a fundamental shift in understanding human potential. The galaxy had always underestimated humans. Now they would be forced to reconsider everything they thought they knew. We're going to need more test subjects, she told Jae-sung. The young researcher nodded, a smile of excitement spreading across his face. The research was just beginning. And it would change everything. The military command center was silent. Holographic displays showed countless star systems, with previously hidden ships now exposed in bright, unmistakable outlines. Admirals and strategic commanders from multiple alien species sat stunned, their carefully planned covert operations suddenly transparent. Commander Park Jun watched their reactions with a calm expression. She understood precisely what this discovery meant. Stealth had been the ultimate military advantage for thousands of years. Now, human perception had destroyed that single most important strategic tool. The Argonian military delegation looked particularly devastated. Their entire military doctrine relied on undetectable ships conducting secret missions. Generations of strategic planning had been built around the ability to move unseen. Now those plans were worthless. Every single stealth operation is compromised, muttered Admiral Kong, reviewing the latest reports. His fingers traced the newly visible ship locations across the galactic map. Hundreds of secret missions were now completely exposed. Alien military strategists began emergency meetings. Some proposed extreme solutions. Suggestions ranged from attempting to suppress human research to developing entirely new military technologies. Others recommended diplomatic strategies to control human knowledge. Dr. Una Kim's research team was suddenly the most important scientific group in the galaxy. Military representatives from dozens of species wanted to understand how human brains processed quantum information. What seemed like a simple biological difference was now a game-changing discovery. The economic implications were equally massive. Entire industries built around stealth technology would collapse.
Companies that had developed quantum shielding systems would become obsolete overnight.
Stock markets across multiple star systems began to show signs of panic. Diplomatic channels buzzed with urgent communications.
Some species saw humans as a potential threat. Others recognized the collaborative opportunities. The balance of galactic power was shifting in ways no one could have predicted. Human scientists began receiving unprecedented research funding.
Every major galactic institution wanted to understand and potentially replicate the unique human perception. What had once been seen as a minor species was now critically important.
Commander Park understood the strategic landscape better than most. Humans weren't looking to dominate.
They were offering a fundamental shift in understanding, a new way of perceiving reality that could benefit everyone. "We're not a threat," she told the assembled military leaders.
"We're offering a new perspective."
Her words carried weight.
The human delegation represented something different. Not conquest. Not aggression.
But a fundamental reimagining of technological and perceptual limitations. Military strategists from the Orion Confederation began developing new training programs.
If human perception could be understood, perhaps it could be taught.
The possibility of expanding perceptual capabilities across different species created excitement and fear in equal measure.
The most advanced quantum research centers began intensive studies. They wanted to understand how human brains processed information so differently. Was it a genetic mutation? A unique neural pathway? Or something more fundamental about human cognitive capabilities?
Intelligence agencies across multiple star systems scrambled to reassess their operational strategies.
Covert missions would need complete redesign. The age of invisible warfare was over.
Commander Park watched the reactions with a mixture of professional calm and quiet pride.
Humans had always been underestimated.
Now they were forcing the entire galaxy to reconsider what was possible. "This changes everything," Admiral Kong said quietly, more to himself than to anyone else.
Outside the command center, stars continued their ancient dance.
But something had fundamentally shifted.
The galaxy would never be the same again. Human perception had become the most important strategic asset in existence.
The disruption was complete. And it was just the beginning. The research facility glowed with the soft blue light of advanced holographic displays. Dr. Yuna Kim stood at the center of a breakthrough that would reshape galactic technology.
Alien scientists from multiple species worked side by side, something that would have been unimaginable just months earlier.
Human perception technology was evolving rapidly. What started as a mysterious biological capability was now becoming a transferable skill. Training programs emerged, teaching other species to expand their sensory capabilities.
The first graduates could see glimpses of quantum-shielded objects, though not with the same precision as humans.
Jae Sung, leading a team of quantum engineers, developed the first perception enhancement implants.
These small neural devices would help non-human species approximate human quantum perception.
The technology was crude but promising. Each successful test brought more hope to species desperate to understand this new sensory frontier. The Orion Confederation was the first to fully embrace the new technology. Their military quickly developed training programs that integrated human perception techniques.
Pilot programs showed remarkable results. Ships that were once invisible now became partially visible to trained operators. Economic markets exploded with new opportunities.
Tech companies raced to develop perception enhancement technologies.
Startups emerged overnight, each promising to unlock the secrets of human quantum perception.
Venture capital from multiple star systems poured into research centers. Military academies across the galaxy redesigned their training programs.
What was once about advanced sensor technology was now about expanding biological perception.
Young cadets from different species trained together, learning to see beyond traditional sensory limitations. Dr. Rodriguez continued her research, mapping the intricate neural pathways that made human perception unique. Each discovery opened new questions. Was this an evolutionary adaptation? A random genetic mutation? Or something more intentional?
The Galactic Council established a special research division dedicated to understanding and expanding human perception capabilities. Scientists worked around the clock, breaking down the complex neural mechanisms that allowed humans to perceive quantum-shielded objects. Diplomatic relations transformed. Species that were once suspicious of humans now sought collaboration. The ability to see beyond traditional limitations became a valuable diplomatic and scientific asset. Human researchers were suddenly in high demand across multiple star systems. Communication technologies began to evolve. If humans could perceive quantum wavelengths, could this lead to new forms of communication? The possibilities seemed endless. Research teams explored how human perception might revolutionize everything from long-distance communication to deep space exploration. Training centers opened on multiple planets. Humans who had demonstrated exceptional quantum perception became instructors. They taught techniques that seemed almost magical to other species, the ability to see what should be invisible. The first successful non-human perception enhancement happened on a research station orbiting a distant neutron star. Andromedan scientists successfully identified a quantum-shielded probe, seeing it with about 40% of the clarity a human would demonstrate. The research team celebrated for days. Economic analysts predicted massive changes. Entire industries would be transformed. Military strategies would be completely redesigned. The concept of stealth was becoming obsolete. Transparency was the new galactic standard. Commander Park watched these developments with quiet satisfaction. Humans hadn't conquered through military might. They had changed the galaxy through a unique ability to perceive reality differently. It was a peaceful revolution, driven by understanding rather than force. The technology continued to evolve. Each day brought new discoveries, new possibilities. What had seemed impossible just months ago was now becoming routine. The galaxy was learning to see in entirely new ways. "We're just getting started," Dr. Yuna Kim told her team, her eyes bright with excitement. The future was unfolding, and humans were at the center of a technological transformation that would reshape galactic civilization. Outside the research facility, stars continued their ancient dance. But something fundamental had changed. Perception was no longer limited. The invisible was becoming visible. And humanity had shown the galaxy a new way of understanding reality. The adaptation was complete. And it was just the beginning. The Galactic Council chamber looked different now. Where once tension and secrecy dominated, transparency had become the new standard. Commander June Park stood at the center, a symbol of the profound changes sweeping across multiple star systems. 5 years had passed since the first discovery of human quantum perception. The galaxy had transformed more completely than anyone could have imagined. Diplomatic protocols, military strategies, and scientific research had been completely redesigned. Species that once viewed humans with suspicion now sought collaboration. The human ability to perceive quantum wavelengths had become a bridge between civilizations. Communication was more direct, more honest than ever before. The Galactic Council's structure changed. A new committee focused entirely on perception technologies was established. Humans played a central role in developing guidelines that ensured fair access to perception enhancement research. Economic systems underwent massive transformation. Industries built on secrecy collapsed. New markets emerged, focused on transparency and shared technological development. Companies that adapted thrived. Those that resisted became obsolete. Military academies across the galaxy now included perception training as a standard curriculum. Young cadets from different species learned to expand their sensory capabilities. The concept of undetectable warfare had become a distant memory. Dr. Yuna Kim's research team continued to make breakthrough after breakthrough. They discovered that human perception was more than just a biological quirk. It represented a fundamental approach to understanding reality that could be learned and adapted. Diplomatic missions became more complex and more honest. No longer could species hide their true intentions. The ability to perceive quantum-shielded objects meant that negotiations happened with unprecedented transparency.
The first truly integrated galactic research centers emerged.
Humans worked alongside scientists from dozens of species, sharing knowledge and expanding collective understanding.
Cultural exchanges became more meaningful, more genuine.
Commander Park reflected on the journey. Humans hadn't conquered through military might or technological superiority.
They had changed the galaxy through a unique way of perceiving reality.
It was a peaceful revolution. Space exploration entered a new era.
Ships equipped with human-developed perception technologies could navigate more safely. Hidden dangers could be identified long before they became threats.
The unknown became slightly less unknown. The Orion Confederation developed the first fully integrated perception enhancement program.
Within 2 years, their military and scientific teams could perceive quantum-shielded objects with nearly 70% of human clarity. It was a remarkable achievement.
Economic analysts predicted continued transformation. The galaxy was becoming more connected, more transparent.
Old conflicts based on secrecy and hidden agendas were becoming increasingly difficult to maintain. Alien species began to appreciate the human approach to perception.
It wasn't about seeing more. It was about understanding differently.
Humans had shown that reality was more complex, more nuanced than anyone had previously imagined. Training centers on multiple planets continued to expand human perception technologies. What once seemed impossible was now becoming routine.
Each breakthrough brought new possibilities, new ways of understanding the universe. The Galactic Council meetings became something entirely new. Representatives from different species worked together more closely than ever before.
The old suspicions, the old barriers, were breaking down. Commander June Park watched the latest council session.
Holographic displays showed star systems, ships, and research developments. Everything was visible now.
Nothing remained hidden.
Dr. Yoona Kim's team continued their research.
They were exploring the next frontier, understanding how perception might be further expanded. The journey of discovery seemed endless. The stars outside seemed to shine a little brighter. The galaxy had changed. Humanity had played a crucial role in that change. Not through conquest, but through a unique ability to see what others could not. A new galactic order had emerged.
Built on understanding. Built on transparency. Built on the simple idea that seeing differently could change everything.
And it was just the beginning.